Hey guys, what's going on? It's your boy John, aka JonnyMamba. Name with respect to the legend right there, the Black Mamba. What we do on this channel is we carry on the Black Mamba mentality. Gone but never forgotten, Mamba. We love you. But what we got coming at you guys today is part 3 of the top 100 sports moments podcast. We have some incredible matchups today. We're going to be talking about Michael Jordan's shot, Game 6, 1998 NBA Finals. We got Cardiac Kemba going up against Evan Turner, his half-court shot. We got Kobe's 60-point final game. We got the Eagles Super Bowl going up against the Jets, and probable Super Bowl win in Super Bowl III. All kinds of great stuff, guys. We got the Cavs championship in there, too. All kinds of stuff. So get ready, strap in. Before we get going, if you haven't already, I would greatly appreciate it if you went down in the box below, gave me a subscribe, as I'm a brand new channel. If you feel compelled to like the video, share the video, anything, I'd greatly appreciate it just because I'm a brand new channel. Also, what I will do with the video is I'll timestamp it because I understand it gets to be long, hour to an hour and a half. Not everybody has that amount of time. So if you just want to go look at one matchup, 2 matchups, 3 matchups, it'll all be linked down in the box below, so you can just go right to your favorite moments and just watch what we say about those moments. With all that being said, guys, I'm going to just get Nate and Eric in here, and we're just going to get right into the podcast, okay? If you want to ever be involved in the podcast, or you think, you know, John, you guys got this one totally wrong, or you missed one, leave it in the comments section below. I also have my email in the description if you just want to email me to get involved in the podcast or anything. So, with all that being said, guys, I will get them in here, and we'll get right into the conversation, all right?
All right, guys, I got everybody in the studio today. I got Big Nate in here. I got Rick.
What up?
Welcome in, guys. It's going to be a fun discussion, I think. We got a lot of basketball moments to roll through, a lot of NFL, a lot of good stuff.
Looking forward to it.
Let's go. We're going to hop right into it. UMBC upsets Virginia. Like, what was that, 2 years ago in the NCAA tournament first round. Only 16-1 upset ever. That's going up against Jimmy V and his team, NC State, and their 1983 championship victory over Houston. Like the last-second shot, the dude shoots it short, and they catch it and put it in. Crazy finish to an NCAA championship game. But I'll just throw it right to you, Dio. What you got for me?
I have to lean towards Jimmy V on this one.
Yep.
Do you know who they played for the winning shot with the alley-oop?
Who's that?
I believe it was Houston.
Yeah, it was Houston.
And it was Hakeem the Dream in college, wasn't it?
I'll look it up. I mean, but yeah.
To win a game with scrubs at NC State at the time, and it's obviously debatable because you could say, all right, let's take this UMBC upset 20 years from now and talk about it. Let it permeate for a little bit. Just like Jimmy, you know, just like him passing away and what that's meant to the cancer world and stuff, you put a little more emphasis on that. So I got to say Jimmy V.
Clyde Drexler.
Yes.
Hakeem Olajuwon. There's 4 guys. Michael Young, Clyde Drexler, Hakeem Olajuwon, Larry Michelle, I'm not exactly sure, and Barry Anders. He's the only dude that didn't make the NBA. 4 of those guys made it to the NBA.
2 of them are top 40 players of all time.
Yeah.
Maybe top 50.
One of them's
Other
like
debate,
top 10.
but whatever,
like
yeah.
Top 10, top 15.
Right. So that, against that kind of talent, that is special.
Yeah.
And the fact that one of those guys had the presence of mind, I don't know what the name of the player was for NC State who did it,
Yeah. No.
but just the thought of, like, this probably isn't going to go in, sees his guys playing half-ass box-out defense on him, whatever, and gets that close to the rim and just boop.
Drops it.
You know, and maybe that, I don't know, was that the play call? Was that?
Definitely not.
I don't know if, like, the idea was...
It.
Maybe if, like, he said something like, all right, we're going to have to shoot this maybe from far, so get to the hoop to look for, like, a putback or something.
Mm-hmm.
But,
Yeah.
If you thought about that in that moment, you're, like, on another level. Like, if you're, like, coaching your kids to, like, this kid was just, I feel like this kid was just chucking it up for hope to God it goes in.
So
and this
cool.
this other dude was just, like, had the presence of mind, like, oh, my God, it's going short. Oh, my God. Like, incredible awareness. What do you think, Rick?
Yeah, I'm going with Jimmy V in the '83 championship as well. I mean, just a very unique thing. And looking at NC State now and like what they've done since even is kind of interesting in terms of like NC State is not really that great of a program anymore.
Right.
You know, they're not up
Just
there
their crown jewel.
anymore. And just like what it created NC State fans all over the country.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's such a unique opportunity. That's such a unique moment it takes to be able to do such a thing. And it like cemented Jimmy V's legacy. Like, you know, that team is that's a team's legendary. And if they don't win that championship, like they mean nothing.
Yeah, well, yeah.
The winners are remembered, the losers are forgotten.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just think like he would be remembered just because you know the cancer and stuff, but that really like builds his legacy. That moment is like if that moment doesn't happen, like he'd still be remembered and everything, but like you have that moment that they like roll to this inspirational story of beating like David and Goliath's like story, and then this guy overcomes it. And it's like you know what I mean? It's like cancer as well.
It
you know what I
takes
mean?
him from a cool story to a great.
Yeah, exactly.
To like a great moment.
Unbelievable.
To a great person, to a great coach.
Yeah. Anything else to say about the deal, or we want to move on to the next one?
Ironically enough, the following year, this is also a time when basketball in the state of North Carolina wasn't massive. Mm-hmm. Had not heard of Wake Forest yet. You know, when Dean Smith was still building at North Carolina. I think he won a title the year prior, his first one. But the year after this happened, I believe Coach K started at Duke.
Yep.
And at that point, you know, no teams in North Carolina have ever caught up to those guys.
Yeah.
So it definitely gave them a moment, which was great. But then you have, all North Carolina star Jordan was at North Carolina the following year, I believe, right?
I just saw reference point. Michael Jordan was like 1982, so this is like 1983 season. So I mean, this is right in the middle of the North Carolina dynasties for a team like NC State to get a moment like that. That's just special.
To have even a blip time.
Yeah. Amazing. All right, well, that one was pretty close in the voting, so we'll see how it shakes out. Let's roll into our next one. The Carmelo Anthony 2003 led Syracuse team. Taking out Kansas in the national championship game. Our local boy Jerry McNamara hitting 6 threes in the championship game, baby. That was so hype. I remember watching it as a kid and just my dad being like, "That guy's from Scranton." And I was like, "Oh hell yeah!" I'm rooting for the Syracuse because I was like not really paying that much attention to it. And like this dude just goes off. That moment is going up against another crazy Syracuse moment. Uconn Syracuse 6 overtime thriller in Madison Square Garden in the Big East tournament. So I'll start with you this time, Rick. What do you got for me on this one?
Yeah, so I think I'm going to go here actually with the Carmelo championship. I don't know. This was one of those times when you were watching basketball and it just made you fall in love with the sport, made you fall in love with March Madness. Like McNamara being that local guy. I remember watching the game, sitting there with my mom. My mom telling me about her and my dad went to go see him play down at Mart's Hall. Like, and that's such a cool.
I got to play there once.
Yeah,
it's cool.
You can attest to it.
Epic.
Mart's Hall is like the center stone of like Pennsylvania basketball, like high school
Eastern
basketball
PA,
player.
absolutely.
Yeah, Eastern PA especially. Like you dream of playing there. Like he got to play there. I remember. Didn't he win the state championship in high school? I'm pretty sure that they won states.
So he was a year older than me, and ironically, he played the team, him and Trinity Catholic, the team that smoked us in states. He played against them. I don't know if he ever did win a title. I think he did.
I think he won
100%.
I think he won one, but like he was just one of those legendary Pennsylvania players of like. He played with his heart on his sleeve. He shot the 3 ball, like, and then you get to see him do exactly what he was doing in high school. Like his performance in that game was incredible.
They probably don't win without it.
Yeah, they don't win without it. They don't win without it. He went off. Like his 3-point shot was incredible, and watching their entire streak, like that is one of the things that made me fall in love with March Madness and the whole March Madness like stories and everything else that revolves around March Madness.
Yep. What do you think, Dio?
I gotta go Carmelo championship. Okay, I should have asked this first. Do you both think Jim Boeheim is a good basketball coach?
Yeah, I think he's a great coach.
And that's solidified by his one title.
I mean, I think he's a pretty... yeah, that's true.
So,
good point.
To back one from the other and to agree heavily with what GMAC brought to the table, obviously. Mm-hmm. He was a part of this. And Carmelo, I mean, he might not have been exactly LeBron right out of high school because that 1 year, I'm sure, with playing college ball helped him a little bit.
Right.
He's still one of the best players out of that 5-year radius to come out of school or show up in the NBA. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, I got to say, the one is amazing. The 6 overtimes is amazing, too.
I just remember the 6 OT game. I just remember it was late at night. I'm watching it. And the dude hits it. What's his name? Hits from Syracuse.
Devendorf.
Yeah. He hits that crazy shot. He's standing up on the like the garden rails, like looking around. Like it was so crazy. And then it wasn't allowed because it was like barely in his hands. It was unbelievable. It was just unreal. Like 6.
Kept digging, yeah.
It there was like no end, dude. I couldn't believe it. It went to like 3 o'clock in the morning. I felt like. And I was just, like, exhausted watching this. I'm like, I can't even imagine playing this. Hashim Thabit was in the game.
Right.
There was a lot of – it was a star-studded team from, like, both sides. They were both really good teams. But that Carmelo championship was really special. And like you said, it solidifies Jim Boeheim's legacy.
That's – as a Louisville fan with one of my very close friends is a big Cuse fan. The gentleman that doesn't like Bryce Harper.
Yeah.
But he's met Devendorf, been a big Cuse fan. I've seen 2 Louisville versus Syracuse games at the Dome. Mm-hmm. Awesome place to go see a ball game.
Yeah.
But he's a top coach of all time. The team was amazing. The 2-3 zone is significant.
Yeah. What he's done to transition the game to like allow the 2-3 zone to even be viable. Like nobody runs a 2-3 zone, man.
Guess
like,
who loved the 2-3 zone as a center growing up?
Yeah, right.
Just keep your arms up.
But all right, well, that one's been really close in the voting, so I'll be interested to see. But we might be seeing Carmelo Anthony rolling into the second round. I'm not sure. All right, here you go, Nate. Here's one right up your alley. Boston Red Sox break the curse back in 2004. They reverse swept the New York Yankees. First of all in the ALCS, and then they go on to win the World Series to break Babe Ruth's curse. Was it 86 years or something like that?
Right.
And that's going up against the Cubs, 2016, breaking their curse. What was that? I don't even know. It was like 100 years, something like that. It was a long-ass time. I don't even know. It was insane, too, because it was like Game 7 they went to with the Indians, who were also trying to break their curse of not winning a championship for so long. Went to extra innings in Game 7. Unreal. But which one you going with here? I mean, I kind of know where you're probably going to be leaning just because of the fandom.
For some unbiasedness on this, at the time when the Red Sox won theirs, they were still the longer drought.
Yeah.
So the Cubs eventually did roll into a longer period of no World Series. But at the time, the Red Sox, when they won, it was a longer drought. Playing against the Yankees, huge rivals. Obviously, living in central and northeast PA, you deal with a lot of Yankee fans around here. So, at that point, being down 3-0 in the ALCS, there's a lot of crap talk. You're basically like, we're just buying time.
Yeah.
To come back and do it, and then win the World Series against the Cardinals, that was amazing. I can obviously, if it was a Cubs fan, I'm sure where they would lean, but between the two. Yeah, I got to say Red Sox.
Yeah. Cubs had a 108-year World Series drought. 71-year NL pennant drought. Mm-hmm. Wow, that's insane.
Yeah, the Red Sox at least had played in the World Series and won pennants. We just laid eggs in the playoffs.
Right. What do you think, Rick?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Red Sox as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm really not a big baseball person, to be honest, but I love the city of Boston. And the city of Boston, like, their fan base is, like, that's part of what I love about the city of Boston is that, like, they're so loyal to their sports. They live and die by their sports. Like, and I love the show. People go watch Cheers, one of the most underrated shows of all time. Like, the people of Boston are awesome. They're so involved. Like, their hockey team, their football team, their baseball team, their basketball team. Like, they love every single sport, and like you're representing their city. Like it's such a cool city. It's such a unique
Madness
people.
out of Boston.
Yep. Yeah, like it's just such an awesome place. Like I love Boston. Like Fenway Park. Like I don't even like baseball, and I want to go to Fenway Park.
Harvard University.
For a game. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like it's just an awesome place. Like we're going Boston, the Red Sox. It's all the way.
It's close, man. I don't know. The 3-0 sweep. The reverse sweep of the Yankees, which had never been done before at this point in baseball history. No team had ever come back from 3-0. And then to go break the curse, the Babe Ruth curse after you just you know what I mean? I don't know. But like 108 years, dude. 108 years without winning.
Yo.
And then like it came down to game 7, like game 7 extra innings. Unbelievable. Like I don't know. It's hard not to belittle either moment. They're both unbelievable.
I love it for the Cubs.
What I mean?
Yeah.
It absolutely awesome for both cities. But I'd have to lean towards the Red Sox as well. I feel like it's unanimous that we'll probably be seeing the Red Sox round 2.
Let's go Boston.
All right, let's roll into another Boston matchup then. We got Bobby Orr's 1970. They swept the San Antonio Blues, I believe it was. To win a championship. Bobby Orr has the famous dive play where he finishes it off in overtime. They've made ESPN 30 for 30 about it. We got that going up against the Capitals winning their first Stanley Cup in team history. It was after like 42 years, I believe. Last year, 2019, Alexander Ovechkin finally gets that elusive championship after so many disappointments for the Capitals in the playoffs. What do you think here, Deal?
I got to lean towards Bobby Orr a little bit on this one. Overtime to win the Stanley Cup. Ovechkin's an amazing talent, probably the best hockey player in the last decade, 15 years.
Better than Crosby?
I like Crosby. If I have to watch hockey, I love the Penguins, but Crosby has Malkin.
True.
Ovechkin has himself and Jaromir Jagr for a brief moment as like a 50-year-old, or however he was there for a little bit. But Bobby Orr, as we were just saying, it's just that generation of hockey that was so badass. I mean, guys got clipped in the face by pucks, sticks, probably skates at times. There's probably something just as satisfying to both, but I'll take Orr.
Yeah. Where are you going, Rick?
Yeah, I mean, you guys just heard my feelings about Boston. I'm going Bobby Orr, too.
Yeah?
It's legendary. It's Boston. I mean, one thing I will say is I love Ovechkin. Ovechkin, to me, if you want to see a hockey player, you look at Ovechkin. He'll fight you. He has a missing tooth. Like, I think it's weird. Does Sidney Crosby have all of his teeth? I think he does. Like, it's just weird to me.
If he gets paid so much, he might get them fixed.
Yeah, that's true.
He's had defensive bodyguards in Pittsburgh.
Oh, yeah.
Like Ovechkin, like Sidney Crosby is incredible. And honestly, I think Sidney Crosby might be more talented than Ovechkin. Well, no. I'm going to say offensively, he is more talented. But Ovechkin's just like this all-around person that embodies what hockey is. He's Russian. He's got a
It's James Harden versus LeBron James in comparison. It's which do you value more in your overall take?
I'm going Bobby Orr, Boston all the way.
All right. I don't know. It's a tough one, man. Capitals, they break 42 years. I'm going Capitals here because Alexander Ovechkin, this is his crown jewel, man. This is his only championship. He doesn't have anything. Like, he'd be one of those players that was one of the greatest players ever and didn't have a championship.
The Dan Marino of hockey.
Like, didn't have a championship, bro. Like, he this is his legacy right here.
I like to take the Caps though. At the same rate, like it's tough to differ between the two of them.
Yeah, I mean. It's tough, man. I don't know.
Both of them will rank probably about level as far as hockey all time. When you rank like dudes that
that's what I tried to do when I was building the bracket. You know what I mean? I tried to build it the best, as best as I could.
The toughest down the line.
It's tough, man. All right, but we'll move into the next one here. Close one. It was very close in the voting, so we'll see how it shakes up there with the Capitals and Bobby Orr and the Bruins. Next one here. Here we go. Eagles fans. We know a bunch of people that are Eagles fans, being from Pennsylvania. So I'm not an Eagles fan at all. I can't stand them. But here we go. We got the Jets beating the Colts in Super Bowl III. Jets were an 18-point underdog. Biggest spread in Super Bowl history. And they won the game. And we got that going up against Nick Foles and the Eagles. Second string quarterback comes in, leads the Eagles to I'll say it, improbable Super Bowl victory over the GOAT Tom Brady. I'll give credit where it's due. For me, I know where I went. I know my one buddy was saying, how can you vote for the Colts when you didn't even see the moment or whatever? Or how can I vote for the Jets when I didn't even see the moment, whatever? It was the biggest upset in Super Bowl history. This was when the AFL was joining the NFL, and everybody thought the AFL was like a joke. And you know what I mean? And the point spread shows that. No point spread. I think the Patriots, when they were perfect, they had a 12-point spread over the Giants that year, and everybody thought they were going to kill them. This is 18, and that's insane. Joe Namath called it in New York for a New York City team. The AFL, like it just did so much for the New York Jets. Like, this is their only moment, you know what I mean? Like, this is the only moment that New York Jets fans got. So, like, I'll toss my hat in the ring for you, New York Jets fans. But where are you going here with this one, Rick?
Yeah, I hate the Eagles. Like, I absolutely hate the Eagles. Majority of their fan base, I can't stand. But unfortunately, I'm going with the Eagles. I just think that story is just so cool watching it unfold. Like, that was so awesome. Watching a backup quarterback take the reins, ball out. Like, he went toe-to-toe with Tom Brady.
Yep.
Like, you can't... People were saying, oh, he beat Tom Brady, he did this. Like, yeah, he did, but Tom Brady threw for 500 yards, I'm pretty sure, in that Super Bowl.
Yeah, Tom Brady was insane that game.
That was an incredible football game of two offenses. He went toe-to-toe with Tom Brady and, Doug Peterson.
Yeah. First year, second year.
He out-coached Bill Belichick. Like,
yeah,
we've hardly... I wouldn't even say the Giants, when they beat the Patriots, out-coached them. Like, I wouldn't say that at all. But, like, right then, that was the first time I ever watched the Patriots in the Super Bowl and was like, yo, they just got out-coached.
Yeah.
Like, this is wild. They got out-coached. They played well, but, like, they got out-coached. I've never seen anything like it. It was incredible to watch in the moment. I couldn't believe it. And I hate the Eagles, but that was incredible. Like,
Philly.
A backup quarterback has a statue outside their stadium now. And I want to say that that's funny to me because the Eagles' greatest player of all time is now their backup quarterback. Just shows you what that franchise is. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's such an awesome moment. I have to go with it. Being Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, Super Bowl, it's wild.
What do you got, Nate?
Well, when the Eagles won the Super Bowl, I don't like the Eagles either. I hate the Eagles, and I don't like their fan base. I just everything about them. But okay, if I had to let them have a Super Bowl, and it's because their overpaid quarterback is not the one winning it, and then everybody worships the backup, perfect quagmire situation for Eagle haters. Cause more conflict. Okay. So, although I know this did cause a lot of stress relief for many Philadelphians, I'm going to say the Jets on this. And the only reason why is that I know the Jets, and everybody knows they're the little brother to the Giants all over New York.
Oh, yeah.
It's not debatable. They feel like they're just kind of showing up in someone else's house when they play their games at home.
Like the Clippers.
You're right. And so I can say, you know, what that Super Bowl meant for the AFC and for the greater good of football at the time when they merged the two conferences or the two leagues, and the Jets having a title to at least hang their hat on.
It's their crown jewel.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks to have to say, all right, we got to look back that far for a title to really defend, you know, what their fan base is. But if they didn't have that, I don't even know if the Jets survive in New York anymore, and the Giants just aren't just the team.
Mm-hmm. True.
one team can work in a place that big. I mean, LA hasn't even had a team.
Yeah.
Chicago is
Just
a
got
huge
2.
city, has one. It's
I like baseball, living off nostalgia.
Yeah.
kind of, So this at least gave them some clout, and obviously Joe Namath, probably top 10, 15 quarterback ever. He's a great, competitor. A little bit of a drunk, got it together.
And won a
Kissed the
Super Bowl.
girl on TV,
Yeah.
or tried to.
No, here I'll give Eagles fans this. All right, I'm not putting this moment down because I know we're gonna see it in round 2 because I've seen how the votes are gonna go. All right, it's the Eagles Super Bowl will be moving on, but we wanted to pay some tribute here to this Colts Super Bowl. But the Eagles Super Bowl, like you said, it's incredible. The amount, they went toe to toe with Tom Brady in a shootout. They won a shootout against the greatest quarterback of all time with their backup quarterback, and that was their only Super Bowl. Yeah. That's incredible. That is incredible. And that's what I told my buddy. I was like, for you as an Eagles fan, that is going to be your greatest sports moment of all time. Because if I was an Eagles fan, that would be my greatest sports moment of all time. But as an objective observer, I look at both matchups and I went towards the Colts. I mean, I know we're going to see the Eagles in the second round. I know we are. We'll talk more about it in the second round, so tune in for that part. But let's move on to the next one then. I didn't tear you too bad, Eagles fans. We're going to move in here, though. Lavar Leap, LeVar Arrington against Illinois, straight up jumps over the line of scrimmage and just takes this running back out versus Illinois. They were up 21-0, just stomping these kids. And that's going up against Desmond Howard's punt return against Ohio State, 1991. Poses for the Heisman at the end of the run in the end zone. I kind of went towards that one. I know you guys are both Penn State fans, but I'll just play devil's advocate, I guess, here a little bit here.
You gotta do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's Michigan versus Ohio State. You know what I mean? Lavar Leap's incredible. It's incredible. It was awesome, but they were trashing somebody. They were trashing Illinois when it happened, and this was a Michigan Ohio State game. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of any of the teams. So, I don't know. I just went towards that one just for the gravity of the moment. And just everybody sees that Heisman pose, and it's just kind of a little iconic. Yeah. But what do you got for me, Deal?
Well, I mean, other people have ran kickoffs back. So, people have done that.
Good point.
Jumping over the line like that, that's happened very few times. As a massive Penn State fan, gotta say LeVar Leap.
Yep.
It did solidify a great season for Desmond Howard. He had an amazing college career.
He was awesome in the pros for the Packers.
Yeah.
In our Super Bowl year.
He definitely had
incredible
a good
punt
run.
Returner.
But, yeah,
LeVar Leap. Where you going, Rick?
Yeah, I'm biased with both of these, so it kind of evens itself out. I have a Packer, and then I have a Penn Stater. Kind of balances itself out, but I'm going with the LeVar Leap.
There it is.
LeVar Leap. LeVar Leap.
Leap.
What has LeVar Arrington won on a team? He really hasn't ever taken any titles. He hasn't taken trophies.
Good point.
But when you hear LeVar Arrington, you just think, at least for Penn State fans, I guess this might be my bias because of, being a Penn State fan and growing up in Pennsylvania. LeVar Arrington is a bad dude. Watch what he does to punters. Watch what dude's just a mean, nasty animal. He's the guy that he's one of those guys that earned Penn State that legacy of this hard-hitting, crazy, bad defense.
Linebacker, you.
Yeah, he was awesome coming off the edge.
Exactly.
He was just a monster. And to see somebody do something that athletic, those kinds of plays is what cemented him as an all-time great. He was a 2-time All-American, All-Big Ten player. He's an incredible player that we all know the name of because of plays like this. And this is just one of those moments where one of those greats just showcased what they have.
He had a sick defense he was on. He had Courtney Brown at end, so if he was pass rushing on the play, he had the number 1 or 2 pick in the draft from the Browns in '99, in front of him. Brandon Short was a very underrated inside linebacker. He gave LeVar the ability to go play, like a renegade.
Yeah.
Because he was kind of like the security guard in the middle. Just go do you. But
Yep.
All right. Well, that one was really close in the voting, so we'll see how it moves along here. I'll be interested to see how the results come out at the end of the video. Let's roll into the next matchup. Then we got another Mamba moment. Kobe Bryant's final game, 60 points. Mamba out, going up against Jordan's 63 points in the first round of the playoffs against the Celtics, where they actually lost the game. It's still the most points ever scored in a playoff game. It was a round one game though where they lost the series. So, I mean, I'm not really putting a ton of matter behind the game that much, honestly. You know what I mean? It was a playoff game, but like, it was a first round playoff game where they lost. This was the very, very beginning of Michael Jordan versus the very end of Kobe Bryant. You know what I mean? It's a very interesting matchup. But what you got for me here, Dio?
I'm going to say Kobe on this one.
Yeah.
I think it was a big moment for Jordan to show the Celtics in the league that he was on the level and pay attention. But Kobe had probably the best exit to anybody in their history of sport. And even at the age, just to score the points too and be that active is insane.
Yeah.
I almost want to counter and ask you, what was a bigger moment between Kobe's 60 or Derek Jeter's final walk-off?
Yeah, right. That's a great moment too. Yeah, that's a good one too.
Around.
That's a good one.
But yeah, let's go Kobe.
All right, where you going, Rick?
I love Kobe. Don't get me wrong, but I'm going Jordan. I'm going Jordan on it.
Get him, John.
Just because. No. Kobe. So imagine if Kobe scored 10 points in his final game.
Mm-hmm.
What would you sit here and tell me about Kobe?
When were the 10 points scored?
It wouldn't even be on the list.
Say he played the entirety of the entire game, didn't sit out an entire minute, and only had 10 minutes in his final game, but had the rest of his career the same. You'd still sit here and tell me, like, Kobe's just a GOAT. Kobe's a GOAT. Kobe has already proven to us everything. Yeah, it's an amazing exit,
right?
But this was Jordan proving to the entire league that he was where he was. I think this was big for Jordan. This was big for everybody to realize where he was. This was his confidence builder. But like, don't get me wrong. I love his 60-point exit. It's awesome. It's the only way Kobe Bryant leaves the league. Like, but he's fed the ball. He takes tons of shots. Like, obviously, it's great. It's great though. He goes out on 60 points. But like, in terms of like how important it is, I don't know. I like the Jordan 63-point playoff loss because it's Jordan was like, I'm ready to put the team on my back.
Let me turn this back on you. If Michael Jordan didn't score 63, what would you be saying about him? Not the greatest?
That's fair.
You know what I mean? Like, all I'm saying is...
No, but I think all I'm saying is Kobe had already proven everything. Jordan was proving things at the time of the moment.
Yeah.
Jordan was proving things. Jordan's was like, here I am, and Kobe is see you later.
Yeah.
Like, we already knew what Kobe was, but like, this was at the time when they didn't know what Jordan was. This is at the time when they're like, okay, yeah, this is him going.
I'll give you that. Larry Bird said that like that wasn't Michael Jordan. That was God disguised as Michael Jordan out there on the court. But
the next year they got Phil Jackson and Scottie Pippen.
Yeah.
Because even 63 was not going to get it done.
Yep.
No,
that was like...
I just remember, for me, like this 60-point game, man, I just remember watching it with Christian. And, dude, I just remember, like, we were down, we were losing, and, like, Kobe just hit all these shots coming back. And it was just, like, it like, literally took you back to the moment of all of Kobe's game winners, because he comes around like after like scoring. He's had to score like the last 15 points or something like that. Comes around, hits a shot to tie it, then hits a shot for us to go ahead. Like, it was unreal, dude. Like I just like it took me back to like all the Kobe moments, just remembering all of them, and it was just such a fitting end. You said like Shaq was like, I'll be shocked if he gets 50, and the dude goes for 60. Mm-hmm. Like it was just. I can, not to knock Michael Jordan's like moment at all. Like it's incredible. It's on our list here.
How old was Kobe when that game happened?
I think it was 37.
Okay.
37
Yeah,
or 38.
I mean, we're debating the top 100 sports moments. So like,
Yeah.
If I ever disagree with anything, like sports are the most incredible thing, and I can sit here and name like moment after moment I think should be on this list, but it's just like it is what it is.
It's not like you're saying Kobe's 60 is nothing.
Yeah, it's so tough.
That's zero, and this one always good.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. Then we got Michael Jordan again. Shot versus the Utah Jazz, Game 6, 1998. That's going up against LeBron James scoring 25 straight points to lead the Cavs to the finals. They beat the Pistons after that crazy Pistons team with Rasheed Wallace, Ben Wallace, Rip Hamilton, Chauncey Billups, Tayshaun Prince. This gave them a 3-2 lead in the series where they ultimately won the series. LeBron went off for 25 straight. But that shot for Michael Jordan against the Utah Jazz, that might be his most iconic moment. I mean, it's hanging on the wall here. I mean, I don't know how I can go any other way besides Michael Jordan's shot. Like, amazing moment from LeBron James. Really, this is like what Rick said. This is kind of like in the same light for LeBron as the last moment for Michael Jordan. Like, it showed everyone that LeBron James is the next up-and-coming star. LeBron James is someone that's going to be, like, is going to be, have to be dealt with. You know what I mean? But, you know, his team lost in the finals that year. This is to win the finals. This is Michael Jordan's, like, last shot for the Chicago Bulls. I don't know. Where are you going here, Deal?
Absolutely Jordan's Game 6 winner.
Yeah.
I mean, the flu shot is the third title back after he took his leave.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think he still had 30-plus in the game, didn't he? Am I wrong there?
Yeah. Sure.
I think he had 37 in the game. Poor Byron Russell. I mean, you're linked to it. Greg Elo is probably like, God. But yeah, Elo was probably elated at the time. Like, all right, someone else was postered by Michael Jordan openly, and Patrick Ewing's probably, would someone dunk on him? But yeah, I gotta say Jordan shot.
What you got, Rick?
Yeah, I'm going Jordan shot.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I'm not the biggest LeBron fan. So you're putting it up with, like, one of the greatest moments of, like, Jordan. It's the iconic when he jumps, he floats. Like, he just floats there. It's a beautiful thing to watch. Like, it's just so incredible. Yeah, LeBron's 25 points is awesome. But, yeah, I don't know. I'm biased. I'm heavily biased towards Jordan. LeBron is not. I won't go into.
Like I said, I wanted to pay tribute because that was an incredible moment, and that signified to the league, like, this is LeBron James. Like, LeBron James is coming.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? But
with me,
this is Michael Jordan. You know, his most iconic moment, maybe. What do you got?
With me not being a LeBron fan at all, I will say, like, don't take me wrong. Like, he's a freak of nature on the basketball court.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm not stupid.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not blind to what
He could have picked 10 different sports and been the best at it.
I think he would have.
Except basketball.
I think he could have been. He could have been a better football player, I think, than a basketball.
Football. He could have been an insane swimmer, track runner. Soccer goalie. Imagine that.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. What would you do with him? He could reach across the entire damn thing, and his reaction time was flawless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be so scared to go up for a header on a corner kick against LeBron James in
Oh my
goal.
God, he'd kill people in the air.
God.
No one would ever get anything in the air.
No.
He'd win every corner kick, dude.
So
They'd never get their head
It'd
to
be
it because
so
his hand would be
scary.
like a foot and a half above it.
Yeah.
I just stand
Have his
out on the
armpit
outside
above
of the
all their
box
heads.
and wait for the rebound.
Yeah. All right, well, that's an interesting one. We're going to be seeing Michael Jordan's shot in the second round. It's just one of the most iconic Jordan moments, so we'll be seeing you round 2, Michael Jordan. Here's another one for us. We've had 3 crazy basketball moments right here in a row. This one, cardiac Kemba, the crazy step back for Kemba Walker to beat Pitt in the Big East tournament. We got that going up against Evan Turner's half-court heave versus Michigan in the Big Ten tournament. So pretty equal, like, playing field as to you know, where they were, you know, as like terms
this is
of
a good
height
one.
of moment, you know what I mean?
Yep.
I just remember cardiac Kemba, just dude, that was just so iconic in Madison Square Garden. Just the announcer call on it, like I don't know. I'm not a huge Ohio State fan, so I don't know. It was cool. I always enjoyed seeing UConn, and the Big East tournament always used to be one of the best to watch. But
It was awesome.
it used to be awesome, man. I loved watching.
As a
it.
Louisville fan, shutting down that conference in 2013 was baller.
But where are you gonna go with this one, Deal?
I gotta say, cardiac Kemba. Evan hit an amazing shot right over the half court line. That I think Evan had a lot more hype out of high school than what he really amounted to, especially at the pro level.
Man.
But he also he was there right after Greg Oden, I think.
Yep.
It was like a few years after. So he's riding the Ohio State, wagon. They were good, but no, Kemba,
Cardiac Kemba.
big time.
What you got, Rick?
Kemba.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm just going with Kemba.
Yeah.
Nothing really else to say. Yeah,
It's
it was such a
cardiac
cool
Kemba.
moment. Yeah,
It's
such a
cardiac
cool
Kemba.
moment.
No, dudes. Yeah, we'll definitely be seeing cardiac Kemba round 2. Our 3 basketball matchup, which we just rolled through. Let's roll into a golf one now. We got the Tiger Woods 2005 Masters chip-in. You know, the legendary like Nike commercial where the ball rolls up and I don't know if Nike even scripted it, because you couldn't script it any better if you were a Nike, marketing person. Ball literally rolls over as the Nike logo comes up and drops in the hole. Tiger Woods goes on to win 2005 Masters, and that's going up against Tiger Woods' incredible comeback duel versus Bob May in the 2000 PGA Championship. Tiger Woods said this is one of his greatest duels on a golf course. Bob May played absolutely incredible. Both of them played absolutely unbelievable. Tiger Woods, they both hit birdie putts on the 72nd hole to send it into a playoff. Tiger Woods eventually would win because he hit a birdie putt on the first hole, and then he just took control a little bit in the 3-hole playoff, where he hit that putt where he met the ball at the hole. Was the first hole of the playoff where he birdied. 2 incredible Tiger Woods moments. Most of the golf moments have been Tiger Woods moments, just because he's when people say Michael Jordan stopped other people from winning championships, at the beginning of Tiger Woods' career, he did the same thing. Nobody else was winning because Tiger Woods was winning everything. He's the most dominant athlete of my time, I would say, just simply because he's it. There's no team around him. It's him.
It's kind of like him and Usain Bolt are just...
Yep, and Phelps.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ownership across the board.
Yeah. But where are you going here, Rick? I'll throw it to you first.
I'll go with the chip. Not a huge golf person, but that's just like one of those iconic moments. Like you said, watching the Nike symbol roll over.
Kinda scripted it.
Yeah, everything was just like picture perfect for that moment. It was Tiger Woods. You saw, like, me not being into golf then, like, I'm much more into it now. I'll watch the tournament, so I didn't watch it at all back then. And I can sit there and, like, replay that entire moment in my head. And that's a pretty incredible golf moment it takes to be able to do that.
And he ended up winning the Masters on it, too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It just cements his legacy with that kind of play.
Yep. What do you got, Dio?
I have to say the chip, too.
Yeah.
It definitely kind of to run off what you just said. I think Tiger meant more to golf than what Jordan or LeBron ever did to basketball.
100%.
He said,
And that is like a level of, again, we're comparing like amazing moments together, so it's not to take away from one or the other, but I think that moment with Tiger and just kind of what it built off of, that was more monumental.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's tough, man. Both incredible Tiger moments. I'd probably go with the chip as well. But the duel with Bob May, that was
great.
Incredible. And the one thing I'll say, too, that was in the midst, he was going for that third to complete the Tiger Slam, too. So that helped him complete the Tiger Slam. Mm-hmm. So incredible moments. We'll see how the votes come out. But let's move on to the next one then. We got Deshaun Jackson's Miracle in the Meadowlands. Well, we'll talk about both of them, but I think I know what the answer is going to be because it's going to be Deshaun Jackson's I just want to pay tribute to the other Miracle in the Meadowlands, too, because there's 2 Miracle in the Meadowlands. But everybody just talks about the Desean Jackson one. The other one when the Giants were about to run it out and the quarterback just goes to hand it off, fumbles it. Herm Edwards just picked it up. I can't even – it looked like a high school ball, like Nerf ball.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. But, like, I just think the Desean Jackson moment is just way more – you know, they had that crazy comeback to even bring it close, and then he hits it off with the punt return to – just I can't stand really the Giants or the Eagles, so it's pretty funny to see it. But we got that going up against the Rams and the Titans Super Bowl when the Rams stopped Keith Dyson at the 1 yard line, reaching out for the end zone, and the Rams stop them and win the Super Bowl. Incredible moments. One's in the regular season, but it's like an iconic Eagles moment. It's an iconic NFL moment, really. The other one, I mean, the level of importance is obviously different, but I don't know. Where are you going here with this one, Deal?
I'm going to say Deshaun's miracle.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not even just his miracle. The whole New York Giants, like, offense in that last couple minutes. The whole way the game went, it was insane.
Yeah.
And he had – the miracle's great because he had a botched punt earlier in the game, right?
Yeah, I think so.
He had dropped one earlier, so it was just a makeup. But
makeup call.
Our weight room in high school had the picture of the Titans receiver trying to reach out for the extra yard. So it just said something like, that one rep you want to give up can always mean more to you than you realize. And it was like something pivotal. So you always kind of looked at it like, you know, to be in that moment, I'm probably already a pretty amazing athlete. But, okay, I'll go a little harder. It was amazing, 1 yard. But
Desean Jackson?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going with the Miracle in the Meadowlands as well. That Rams-Titans was really, really, really iconic, though. I agree with you. It's like a motivational thing, one of those iconic moments when you're watching it. To be honest, I really don't have any feeling towards the Titans or the Rams.
Yeah.
So that game was kind of weird to me because I liked players on both teams. Like, it was just a cool game to watch. But in the Miracle in the Meadowlands, I've always been a Mike Vick fan.
Yeah.
I've always been a Desean Jackson fan. Even though I hate the Eagles, Desean Jackson's like one of those cool players that he's small, he's quick, he's shifty. Like, he's just always been fun to watch. He plays with a chip on his shoulder. He's like, he embodies what a football player is.
Henry Ruggs Sr.
It's like cool to watch those players. But Desean Jackson drops that punt, picks it up, takes it to the house to set them up. Like,
chucks it into the stage.
Runs the clock out, too.
Mike Vick coming in big, having some big drives towards the end of that game.
Right.
Mike Vick is one of the coolest stories ever. Like, if anyone doesn't like Mike Vick because of what he did, go look at what he's done. Like, go look at what he's done. He's recognized he's made his mistakes, and he went out and like corrected his behavior.
Yeah, you gotta give people a second chance.
Yeah, and like I personally don't understand what it's like to grow up in the culture that Mike Vick grew up in. And like, okay, whatever, dude, you did it, but he owned up to it. He's made his mistakes, and it was cool to see that kind of guy. Like, I always loved that underdog story, that comeback story. I loved watching Vick. I was so bummed when I heard this story because, like, watching his sheer athleticism, his playmaking ability was always so cool. And to watch him come up in, like, a big game, it's Christmas break time. Like, you're, like, it's just it was such a cool time.
It was awesome, dude.
Yeah.
It was an awesome moment.
It was awesome. That's one of the things that I remember from, like, my growing up and what made you fall in love with sports.
Absolutely.
Comeback stories. I hate the Eagles. I've said that many times, but it was so cool to watch that.
Yeah, I totally agree. I that's who I went with. I went with the Miracle in the Meadowlands.
The Tom Coughlin, like, dumbfounded face was just too good.
He's just red as could be. So I think we'll be seeing Miracle in the Meadowlands. Both Philadelphia Eagles fans, get off my back. Both your moments made it to the second round, all right? So just get off my back.
Oh, man.
There you go. All right, guys, let's move into our next matchup then. We got 2 Penn State iconic moments. We got the block field goal versus like number 2 Ohio State. When Penn State was unranked, we got them going up against the Michigan Penn State 4 overtime thriller. Allen Robinson coming up with a crazy catch to send it into OT. Incredible moments. As you two, as Penn State fans, where are you going with this one, Rick? I'll start with you.
Yeah, I gotta go the Penn State Michigan 4 OT thriller. Solely for the reason I went to the game. One of my best friends, Justin Wilson, he's a huge Michigan fan. And him and I, all the time in college, would just sit around and talk trash to each other all the time about Michigan and Penn State. Michigan and Penn State. And my family at the time had season tickets, and nobody could go to the game, so they let me use the tickets. So I got to take one of my good friends, and he's a Michigan fan. We go up to that game.
Is it a whiteout?
Yeah. Michigan, I don't know if Michigan was wiping the floor with Penn State. Like, people were leaving, everything.
I remember watching it on TV.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. And then all of a sudden, Christian Hackenberg, Allen Robinson. I'm telling you, the only reason Christian Hackenberg ever went to the NFL is because of Allen Robinson and Bill O'Brien. Bill O'Brien, Penn State fans don't give enough credit to Bill O'Brien. He really saved us coming out of this.
Adam Brenneman and Jesse James helped a lot, too. 10-yard passes. Here you go.
Yeah, I get the...
Make me look good.
I get the distaste that some Penn State fans get for Bill O'Brien leaving. I get it, but I just don't feel it because he saved us with these two. Allen Robinson made Christian Hackenberg so much better than he actually was. Like, Allen Robinson's catch right there at the 1 yard line, crazy iconic. One of the worst game I've ever seen by kickers from Michigan's kickers. They're absolutely pathetic.
Michigan's kickers have some pretty bad moments.
He must have been sweaty. Stepping up. He time and time again, dude. I thought Penn State was gonna lose over and over again. Like, just being there, feeling that that's what sports is about. When you think that you're out, you can climb right back out of your hole. Like, it's so awesome to watch those moments and just being there and watching that unfold. It was awesome. And getting to just ride home with my friend and
talk trash. Where you going, Dio?
It's a tough one because both kind of mean very pivotal moments for both coaches in the school's history. Yeah. The Michigan game was great. I was at the Penn State Michigan game the last 2 times. We had them at home. It's an awesome game. At that point in the year, Michigan actually lost the game. And the quarterback at the time, what was his name again? He was wearing number 98. I just remember that. He didn't wear a normal quarterback number. But they had one loss, and we beat them, and that was huge to keep the school afloat and relevant in college football, I think.
Yeah.
This game, though, with Ohio State, the block kick, I mean, the recruits we gained out of that and the momentum, both of them were very pivotal, rose with the oar in the process.
Yeah.
But I got to give it to the Ohio State block kick. When you look at the stats in that game, we were much further away from looking like we should have won the game than what we were at with Michigan.
Yeah.
And you're right with Hack. Hack, it's hard to tell what his career could have been if he came into a good offensive line and at least better situation right away.
I think if Bill O'Brien stays, it's a different picture.
Yeah. He was his style quarterback.
O'Brien. Yeah.
And the thing with Bill at the time was I loved the hire. He was a great person for the school.
Yeah.
He exemplified a lot of what Penn State fans ideally wanted a coach. He had a family. His one son had a lot of medical needs, and when it popped up, to be able to have him, being in Houston with their medical facilities opposed to State College, PA.
Yeah.
You can't hate anybody on that process. It was tough as a Penn State fan. I'm sure kind of with you in a way, it's like, you're supposed to come here and stay here with us for a while. You're not supposed to leave. Where are you going?
Yeah.
But yeah, I got to give the block kick.
That's a tough one, man.
Grant Haley.
I'm torn. It's been pretty close in the voting. I think the Ohio State factor being ranked number 2 in the country. Michigan was ranked at the time, though. I mean, they were ranked like, what,
16th or 18th.
I was going to say 16 or 18, somewhere in there. But we'll see how the voting shakes out. We'll see which Penn State moment moves on.
For a team that, though, people were saying that the relegations against Penn State at that time, though, were like was worse than receiving the death penalty. I heard multiple people, like Stephen A., people saying stuff about that. Like, that game, that stuff, like, brought us through. Absolutely
You're right.
Incredible. And one thing to add quick to Bill O'Brien, if you listen, he had interviews and people close to him said one of the things that pushed Bill O'Brien away from Penn State was their fans. Because he said that they were like, he was being driven crazy because if he wanted to change anything about the program, the fans freaked out. Because if you remember, he put like names in the back of jerseys, numbers on the side of the helmets. Like he tried.
I loved it.
I did too. Because he was thinking, like, I need to change the image of the
modernize.
program. And, like, modernize a bit because of the Sandusky things and stuff.
New branding.
And Penn State fans are stubborn people.
We could have some seriously cool, like, those whitewash, what do they call them? The like the NFL does the crush.
The color rush.
Yeah. I mean, a neon, like those digital white with like Penn State, like navy on it and stuff. That would be pretty damn cool in a primetime game.
It is weird, though, because the tradition is a big part of Penn State.
Yeah.
Just because we had just talked about Mike Vick for a minute, Penn State does play at Virginia Tech this season.
Ooh.
September 12th, I believe. So if they do bring football back, bring it into September like they've been saying, I'd love to catch that game.
Yeah. All right, let's move into the next one then. We got old-time baseball here. This is, if you're an old-time baseball fan, this is right up your alley. We got Willy Mays Catch in the World Series 1954. I got my dad to give me some background on these because he knew about them a little bit. The New York Giants were playing the Cleveland Indians. Cleveland Indians were a 100-win team, and the New York Giants won the World Series. Willy Mays has his iconic over-the-shoulder catch. We got that going up against Bobby Thompson's home run, the shot heard around the world. And that was in the NLCS back in 1951. That was for the New York Giants to beat the Brooklyn Dodgers to win the National League, to go on. And I believe they played the Yankees and they lost in the World Series. But still an incredible moment. 2 incredible baseball moments. I had to do some research on them, but I just wanted to pay tribute to them because they're both iconic. What do you think, Deal?
So I think I had sent you this when we were talking about it online. Willy Mays played on the team with Bobby Thompson as a rookie that year, I believe.
Yeah.
He was on the squad, so it's kind of neat that he's intertwined to that moment, in both ways. And that's insane to be playing the NLCS, 2 teams in New York against another team in New York for the title. I mean, everything flows through the city, I guess.
In a time when baseball was the biggest thing going.
Absolutely. Gonna say Willy Mays Catch.
Yeah.
I just think other players have hit home runs, and this kind of goes back to, reiterating the other comment, people have duplicated the Thompson home run in that fashion.
Yeah.
That catch, that Willie, I mean, that's why you are probably the best at what you did ever. Moments like that. So I'll take Mays.
Willy Mays. Rick.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm going with the Bobby Thompson home run. I mean, there's been 2 shots heard around the world. One, we don't know who did it, but it started the Revolutionary War. And the other was Bobby Thompson. What a
Good
title
point.
to be given.
Excellent point.
It's legendary. It's the shot heard around the world. And, when you hear that phrase, you think of one of 2 things.
Yeah. Sure. That's a good point. I don't know.
I'm not a big baseball person, so
exactly. I'm not a huge baseball person either. I went with Willy Mays. Just I don't know.
It's in the name.
Yeah, Willy Mays. Willy Mays, baby. Willy Mays. So we'll see which one. It was really this one was tied when I last looked at the votes. So we'll see how it.
Did Willy Mays start the plays like Mace Drive-In?
Yeah, I'm sure.
The same?
Yeah, I think so. I think his family owns it. Still to this day.
That's what I always think of.
If you're ever in North Central Pennsylvania and you want to get to Willy Mays,
I don't really know Bobby Thompson,
there's
but I know
no
the shot
fact
around
in
the
this.
world. But I know Willy Mays is. You know?
It's like house is built in 1825 by General Custard. For all the stepbrother. All right, let's move into the next one here. This is a heck of a matchup here. Michael Jordan's iconic flu game. Yeah, Michael Jordan moments all over the place. And Michael Jordan's flu game, 1997, NBA Finals, Game 5. Michael Jordan has the flu, he's got an ice pack on his head in timeouts, throwing up, barely can stand up after the game. Scored 38 points. The Bulls take a 3-2 lead. They end up beating the Utah Jazz 6 games. That's going up against Isiah Thomas in the 1988 finals, going up against Showtime, Magic Johnson, and my Los Angeles Lakers. Isiah Thomas had a very badly, if not broken, ankle in the fourth quarter of Game 6, and the Lakers were going to take over, win the series, which we ended up winning in 7 games. I'll say that. We ended up beating them in 7 games, but because Isiah Thomas didn't play, he's so injured. But scoring 25 points on a bum ankle against one of the greatest teams of all time, man, this is a tough one. This is a really, really tough one. Where are you going with this one, Rick?
Yeah, I'm going Isiah Thomas. I mean, Jordan's flu game is awesome. It's one of those moments where you look at a player and they just won't be denied. Like, they just have that desire, that determination. They push through. Mm-hmm. Like, whatever adversity's thrown their way, they push through. It's one of those things that's lived on. It's one that, like, you hear about as a kid and you're like, that's going to be me. I'm going to be that guy that will push through. But, like, Isiah Thomas, this is what made not only Isiah Thomas, but the Pistons great. It was that chip on that shoulder. Yep. That, like, the flu is something incredible to play with, but a broken ankle is absolutely absurd. Absolutely absurd to be playing with. They had to cut his shoe off.
Yeah.
That's crazy. His ankle was so swollen, they cut his shoe off. That's just sheer determination. You can see him, he's like hobbling all over the court.
Yep.
And then when he gets the ball, he is able to focus everything. The determination, the focus, everything that takes to be able to, like, drive the lane like Isiah Thomas was. To be able to do everything he was able to do offensively is crazy. If you, like, defensively, he kind of, took it a little easier.
Maybe he had the bad boys behind him.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he had the bad. Like, it's such an awesome. It cemented the Pistons. It's cemented Isiah Thomas's legacy. Jordan has every other. Like you said, he's on here how many times?
Yeah.
Right.
That's my.
Where are you going, Dio?
So he had the bad boys behind him, and he had Rodman, Mahorn, Lambier. They were beasts. Now Joe Dumars, which was about the same size he was, pretty short, little stockier. Mm-hmm. It was those two, Rodman, Lambier, and Mahorn. Have any of the other 4 ever come up in any talks about best offensive players of all time?
Nope. Not even close.
So Isiah had to do a hell of a lot of work offensively. Now he had guys, if you roughed him up when he went in, you foul him accordingly, not dirty, but accordingly. You're not going to get too much out of him, but offensively, he's the guy that has to generate it. So, flu game, amazing. It ended a lot, but, I mean, for Isiah to go through that against the Lakers, I'm going to give it to Isiah.
Yeah. Honestly, like, Michael Jordan's flu game's incredible. I had to go with Isiah, too. I mean, I know Michael Jordan's team went on to win. And the voting in this one has been dead close, too. It's been really close, like a lot of these have been. I voted for Isiah Thomas just because, I mean, he did it against Showtime. This wasn't a regular season game. This wasn't, if it was a regular season game, he probably wouldn't have been playing. But one of the greatest teams of all time. We got Michael Thompson, we got Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, James Worthy, all these guys, man. They have so many guys, man. Unbelievable.
Kurt Rambis.
Yeah, stacked team, bro. Stacked. And this really started the Pistons' run. You know, this really started their, you know, because the next year they won the championship, right? I believe 91. They won the championship the next year.
They did.
Yeah. And this really started their, you know, belief that, you know, if Isiah was there Game 7, you know, maybe we could have done this. And, you know, they really took on that bad boys role, and they really, I mean, they won 2 championships, man. There's an incredible team, the Bad Boy Pistons, as much as everybody hates them. Like, I don't know if you can find one person that, like, that played against Bill Laimbeer.
Oh, right.
You know what I mean? I'm not saying fans. Like, I'm not saying fans hated them. I'm saying every team hated them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, every team.
They were just menaces.
Yeah, they were. But I went with Isiah Thomas here, so I think we'll be seeing Isiah Thomas probably in the second round.
I think it's like they're one of those teams, being like a soccer person, I think of like, you have like Jose Mourinho, who like, when he went up against the great Barcelona teams, all he told his team was to do was just like hit their players.
Yep.
Like he was just like foul the crap out of them, frustrate them, anger them, and so many people. And like, I'm very passionate about soccer, not so much about basketball. So I think it's the same kind of concept of like, they were unorthodox. They broke the style that the game was supposed to be played in. Like, like people hated that. Like they did not want to think like, this is an okay way to play, is to like stop other people from playing.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it weird? I don't know.
They did all that they could to win a championship.
Controversial
man, and it worked
team.
out for them, you know. Like
that's what I like. It's like I like watching players that put anything, that will do anything to win.
Right.
Anything to win.
Yeah, I mean,
Like Jose Canseco.
You're not cheating. You're not trying.
Hey,
it's a very true statement.
correct me if I'm wrong, but I think ESPN has a Maguire and Sosa documentary coming out.
Ooh.
Who did more steroids and who corked more bats? We'll give you the real stats.
Yeah, that whole situation. The worst part is it helped baseball with some relevancy. That's like the worst part.
I don't
the
care
only
if they took
you're,
steroids.
you're right.
Just so everybody's taking steroids, and I know it. I don't care. They're gonna take steroids. Go ahead.
Let it just happen.
Can we turn this
Guys throwing them the ball were taking steroids too.
The NFL's going to get to a point where it's going to peak out.
Well, can we get into this James Harrison like Saints debate here too? Have you heard this stuff?
I like it.
Yeah.
And I'm for it. It's a game of barbaric attitude and actions.
Sean Payton was encouraging his players to play within the rules of the game. Mike Tomlin was rewarding players for playing outside the rules of the game. Sean Payton wanted them to hurt them, but not quite like, he wasn't saying like, hey, direct hits to the head. He was saying, I want you to hurt them within the rules of the game you hit so hard.
This exactly touches back, though, on the point you just made about the coach, with soccer, just emphasizing just go out and be beasts. Don't stop at nothing. Harrison was a monster, man. He was a monster. It's like the sport welcomes that kind of theory and ethics because it just breeds it. Mm-hmm. That's the way that goes, man. It's like, I don't like seeing the guys necessarily get hit, but you're like, you signed up for it. You knew that was a thing. You could sign out anytime you want, and we would all pat you in the back and say thanks for a great career. Yep. You know, doing your thing, but... Anyways,
all right, we got a tad bit off topic there, but we'll
edit.
No. I mean, we didn't get that far off. I mean, we started with Jordan's flu game versus Isiah Thomas's game to James Harrison,
right,
and the Saints. Yeah. I mean,
determination.
Okay.
That's what we see.
Yeah.
Here's a great one.
All right. Yep. Next one here, we got another basketball one. Two huge basketball moments right here, back to back. We got Larry Bird's incredible, one of the most iconic Larry Bird moments, I'd say. Steal and score versus the Pistons. Game 5, Eastern Conference Finals. The Pistons were about to go up 3-2. Really take control of the series. They're about to go up 3-2 in Boston. And Larry Bird out of nowhere comes in, steals the ball, tosses to Dennis Johnson, layup, rest is history. They go on to the finals that year. And who do they face? My Showtime Lakers. Magic Johnson, Game 6. Baby skyhook, 2 seconds to go. Wins the game for the Lakers, wins the series for the Lakers. Start of our run. It's a tough one, man. But I know where I'm going. I know I'm going with Magic Johnson's baby skyhook to win Game 6, win LA the championship. But, man, Larry Bird's steal was incredible. Why don't you go first, Rick?
Yeah, I'm Boston. Boston. Boston's like
Yo, go park your car.
But Boston's like the older, cooler brother to Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Like it's like this
Way
historic, like this awesome, just cool city of hard knock people. Like it's just Larry Bird being like Larry Bird is one of the coolest stories ever because he's not a natural talent. Like, Larry Bird is not naturally athletic. He's one of the hardest working people.
Yeah.
What a perfect person to represent the city of Boston than Larry Bird. And he made fans of people, like, all across the country with plays like this. My grandfather was a huge Celtics fan because of Larry Bird. Like, this stuff is awesome. I love the hustle play. Like, it's awesome. It summarizes Boston, the hard work, the grit, determination when you think you're out of
Absolutely.
it. Coming back, not giving up on it. Larry Bird all the way in this. Magic Johnson, like, it was incredible. It's incredible. I shouldn't say but, like, I don't know.
Not my cup of tea.
Bird, I just love that hustle play, like that crazy, quick.
It was an amazing play, man. It's so awesome. Like, the Pistons, all they had to do was inbound the play, inbound the ball. They were so. This was one of those things too that built the Pistons. Total learning experience. They could have taken a timeout, advanced the ball to their side of the court, inbounded the ball. Nothing would have happened. Isiah Thomas got the ball quick. Saw Bill Laimbeer stand there. Was like, "Oh, I just want to get it in. We'll win." Mm-hmm. Larry Bird's like, "Nope, we win." So let me go to you, Deal. What you got?
Well, again, we're not talking about the Pistons being the best, inbounding team ever. Back to just being defensive. I would have to go with Magic on this because Bird's play was amazing, and it just solidifies more of his own career. I mean, it's definitely, if you had Larry Bird's top 10 plays ever, it's there. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I believe Magic played center the game he hit the skyhook, didn't he? Did he not? Was that not the series?
It was not. The series he played center was when he was a rookie, and Kareem went out. Right. And then he took over as a center and won the series against the Sixers.
So that's not the same exact one.
No, not the exact same.
Well, then I'm still going to actually probably stick on this just because I know the move, kind of him closing it out. Because he's doing it in the finals and not doing it in the conference finals. So I'm going to still say Magic on this one.
Yeah, I mean.
Baby hook, or the sky hook, that from the free throw line, right?
It was a couple feet inside.
But it was against Bird and McHale on the play.
Oh, yeah.
It was right in their face. They both were defending it.
Yeah, what's going on? What's going on, McHale? What's going on there?
I mean, they jumped high, but sometimes.
That skyhook's unstoppable, man. The skyhook, the baby skyhook, was the key to Showtime, man.
It really was.
It really was one of the keys to Showtime. You could just toss it down to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and he's like, "Give me it. I'll hit a skyhook from 15 feet. I'll hit a skyhook, and no one can stop it. No one in the world can stop it." Everybody talk about Michael Jordan, Kobe's turnaround fadeaways as their unblockable, shots that they always went to. There's not a more unblockable shot in all of basketball than Kareem Abdul's skyhook.
Ever. There's nothing. You
can't do anything about it.
He floated it over the height of the backboard.
This dude was 7'2".
He
one arm.
He's probably letting go of the ball higher in the air than where the rim's at when he's doing it. So he's already up that high. For someone to goaltend that, It's not. It's just not feasible. It's not a thing.
Oh man, another one. This one was crazy close to like 1 or 2 votes separating him. So I'll be interested to see where it shakes out. What moves on to the second round. So let's move into the next one here. Another golf matchup. Last golf matchup of the first round. Let me give you some background on this one. Phil Mickelson's first British Open going up against Jack Nicklaus's 86 Masters performance. Let me start with Phil. Okay, well, let me start with Jack, actually, because Phil broke Jack's record as the oldest major champion. Jack was 46 at the British Open, which he had never done before. So, and he shot a 66 on the final day, -5. The only other person that was close, one other guy shot under 70. The conditions were bad. Phil Mickelson, I remember watching it and just putting on an absolute display. I was like, oh my God, this is like perfect golf.
Mm-hmm.
But both of them, I mean, it's just a 30 on the back 9. Phil Mickelson had like 3 birdies on the last 4 or 5 holes. I mean, this is a tough one. This one's been so close in the voting. I went with Phil Mickelson just because I remember watching it as a big golf fan and just being like, hell yeah, Phil, get that first British Open. Like, he didn't have, you know, he still doesn't, I feel so bad for the guy because he doesn't have a U.S. Open. And, you know, for him, for an American, there's not anything you want to win more than the U.S. Open. And it's awesome that he at least won a British. And, you know, if he couldn't get his U.S. Open, he at least got a British Open, which had been a thorn in his side for years. He'd always played pretty bad there, to be honest with you. But where are you going with this one, Deal?
I'm going Mickelson.
Phil Mickelson.
It's the same sense you just said. You know, I think he's an amazing golfer. Again, take Tiger Woods out of the equation.
Yeah.
What's Phil have accomplished on his list? So it's high.
Oh, God.
Nicklaus also did it with Palmer and some other guys around at the same time, but I hate, you know, the hell with England. The hell with United Kingdom. Take everything that they're good at, and we're better than them. So,
America.
Whatever. Yeah. Just go away. Take your tea and whatever.
It's always good when an American wins the British Open. All right, what do you got, Rick?
Yeah, I'm going Phil.
Phil?
Not a huge golf person, but basically the reasons you guys have named, you know, he's the American Brit. And
Yeah, man.
Like, it's awesome. It's awesome. And, like, Phil Mickelson is one of the few golfers, like, I actually am a big Phil Mickelson fan. I love it. I love it, that guy. Like, like you said, he deserves to have these, like, titles, these trophies. He's been a great golfer. He's been so much fun to watch.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's an awesome guy. Like,
yeah, I just love that he at least got a British Open because, I mean, it's
crazy he doesn't have a green jacket.
No, he has green.
He does have green.
Yeah, he doesn't have a U.S. Open. Yeah, I think he has 3 green jackets.
Okay, wait, that's Masters.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the Masters.
Okay.
Yeah, he has 3 green jackets. He's won a PGA He's won a couple PGA championships, and he's also won the British Open, but he has never won a U.S.
Oh.
Phil Mickelson, you know, obviously, you know, incredible comeback. Jack shooting 30 on the back 9 at Augusta National.
Yeah.
Though. At the age of 46, it's just, oh my goodness, it's a tough one. So we'll see how that one shakes out. It's been so close. It's been 1 or 2 votes the whole time. So let's move into the next one here. We got a hockey matchup. We got the GOAT hockey player. That's funny. No one will ever mention really any other GOAT. You know, you have conversations in every other sport. Not really in hockey, really. It's
Boston people and Gordie Howe.
It's Wayne Gretzky, bro. I mean...
Everyone has their believers, but I feel like in basketball, there's like this weird cult of people who think that LeBron, like, I feel like hockey's the most united sport. That's just like Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah, but all right, we got Wayne Gretzky's hat trick in the 1993 Western Conference Finals against the Toronto Maple Leafs. We got that going up against Mark Messier's Game 6 hat trick against the New Jersey Devils 1994 Eastern Conference championship. And Mark Messier called it. He said, we're going to win this. We're going to win Game 7. So they did, you know, to call it in New York. It's a pretty tough one. But it's the GOAT. It's the great one. I don't know. Where are you going with this one, Deal?
I'm saying Messier all day.
Mark Messier.
So
New York Rangers.
Absolutely. So the Rangers, when Messier and Gretzky actually played together with the Oilers when they were younger, I mean, Gretzky's titles came with Messier's. So when you're comparing the two against each other, like, oh, this is also like the Pippen to Jordan, comparison. Without one, the other one never had, the titles.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Messier. The East was way more stacked in hockey at that point, in the early mid-'90s. So his competition, it's kind of like, the Western Conference of basketball, from basically now in the past 15, 20 years, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just been a power shift. So I would say Messier's accomplishments are more credible with his competition.
Where are you going, Rick?
Yeah, I'm going Wayne Gretzky. He's
Wayne.
He's the GOAT.
The GOAT.
He's the GOAT. Game
where I'm going,
7
baby.
hat trick. Did you see that final goal to pull his hat trick off?
30.
Sick. Skates around the backhand. Dude, it's
He's
so
filthy.
cool. Wayne Gretzky is incredible. Like, absolutely incredible.
The GOAT.
And, like, these are the moments that just made Wayne Gretzky, because when his team needs him, he pulls things out. Wayne Gretzky's the highest scorer of all time in hockey.
No, not even close.
Yeah, it's not close. Like, this dude is the GOAT because of moments like this.
What you got, Deal? You got some?
Oh no! I'm gonna stick with Messier on this one.
Yeah?
I'll still stay with it.
All
Yeah.
That's fair.
I'm going Wayne Gretzky, the GOAT. The GOAT, Wayne Gretzky, Game 7, showing up. I mean, Mark Messier, this is incredible, too. Against the New Jersey Devils, you're right, the Eastern Conference was stacked back then.
Think about that as a final.
Yeah.
The Devils and that was the final. Devils.
That was the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, right. That had been an insane series. It's right
yeah.
across the river.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
yeah,
man.
That had to have been nuts. And the hockey scene in New York had not been real great before that, and it hasn't been much since that.
Yeah.
But he got them some clout.
Yeah. No, it was definitely huge, but
James Dolan
going
again. They've had James
Dolan
Dolan syndrome
trash
since
bag.
then. Womp womp womp. There it is.
there you go.
There it is.
James Dolan, you trash bag, Selvin Nix.
Charles Oakley should have ate you alive.
Like, please, you're a dumpster. All right, well, let's move into our last matchup here. Boxing time. Muhammad Ali versus Joe Frazier. It's going to be an interesting matchup here because I couldn't put all three of those fights together. So we're going to talk about which one of them is the best one of those trilogy fights. And then we're going to put it up against the Hagler-Hearns fight, the war. Incredible fight. These guys just going back and forth at each other the whole time. Just an awesome fight. If you haven't watched it, if you don't know what I'm talking about, go check it out. It's an incredible fight to go watch. And if you haven't watched any of these old-time Muhammad Ali fights, go watch them too. Incredible fights. Where are you going with this one, Deal?
I mean, so to say, the Hagler-Hearns fight,
Yeah.
that was nuts. I mean, as far
It
as,
was.
a fight of just epic proportion bombs and just straight jabs and shots that were landed, it was nuts. The best of Ali, Frazier, though, I mean, that's like...
Which one would you say was the best if you broke them down? If you could...
Ali
Frazier won the
Frazier
first one.
I liked it.
Yeah.
I liked the idea of, like, the Philly dude just coming in and blasting him, but I knew, though, too, at the same... I mean... I shouldn't say I knew because I was alive, but at the same rate, even watching that fight, knowing the greatness of Ali, it's like, oh, he's coming back for another shiver again.
Yep.
But I thought that was an incredible fight. I love just, Frazier's brawlerness. Just, he was like Kimbo's slice of boxing, at that point. And Ali was a very talented, skilled fighter that just had not encountered that kind of just toughness yet.
Mm-hmm.
But like the greatness, he adapted. And
where are you going with this one, Rick? Talk to me about which of the Ali fights you would go with. I mean, what do you think about him?
All right, first of all, I'm going with the Ali Frazier.
Right.
But
one of the most iconic trilogies.
Like, I'm going to pick, like, Ali coming back and beating Frazier.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Like,
yeah,
it was awesome. Ali collapsed after that fight. Like 15 rounds. That's incredible.
Yep.
Incredible. And like it's hard to say, like, to separate these fights is very tough because like I think this is like the peak of boxing, and in my mind, like, there's so many awesome fighters. Like Joe Frazier beat Muhammad Ali. Like, that's one of the biggest things for Joe Frazier.
Who lost to George Foreman.
Yeah.
Who then lost to Muhammad.
Yeah, like,
and you know,
George Foreman was incredible too.
Richard Quarry was a beast.
Yeah,
Sonny Liston ran boxing for years too.
There's so many awesome boxers back then. Like, this is the heyday of boxing. And Muhammad Ali was just something else. And then the Thriller in Manila.
Yeah, Manila.
Oh, dude, it was so cool. And what it did for, I think that racial barriers and stuff that were being broken by, like, seeing Muhammad Ali, how outspoken Muhammad Ali was. Like, he naturally drew the media attention. And, the media didn't want, I wouldn't say the media didn't want, but, like, it's, like, one of the few times back then where an African-American was drawing that media presence, drawing that kind of hype. Like, it was one of those really cool moments in American history when, like, African Americans were being, like, there was a lot of prejudice. There was still, like, a lot of things, like, they were fighting for, but yet they were trying to be forced to be sent to Vietnam. Like, the things that were surrounding Muhammad Ali, like, those moments are just bigger than sports almost. Like, they're sports moments, but, like, they're bigger than
Howard
sports.
Cosell.
Yeah, like, the stuff that happens through those guys is just so unique because of that.
I remember Muhammad Ali saying he felt like he lost years off his life in those fights versus Joe Frazier.
Yeah,
I honestly said if I had to pick one,
crazy too.
I mean, Joe Frazier beating him was incredible. Muhammad Ali wasn't ready for that toughness, like he said, and just that he just kept coming forward. Like, he was hitting Joe Frazier with jabs, and Joe Frazier was just walking right through him and just throwing bombs, and Muhammad Ali was not ready for it. Muhammad Ali changed his game up second fight, went 15 rounds. He wins unanimous decision. And then the last one, the Thriller in Manila, Muhammad Ali just battered him, kind of. He really battered Joe Frazier.
He knew how to take him apart.
Joe Frazier, he couldn't come out for the 15th round. Joe Frazier, his eyes were so swollen up. Couldn't even see. In the 14th round, he was barely able to defend himself because his eyes were shutting.
Muhammad Ali was like one of those people that, like, defined preparation, that defined learning from your mistakes. Like, he was a lot of talk, but that was all strategical. Like, Muhammad Ali learned every single thing.
It's like Rodman.
And one of the things, like, any coach will tell you, anybody tells you in life is, like, to learn from your losses. Like, learning experience, like, you need to lose to be able to grow. Like, losing to Joe Frazier created the animal, like, you know what I mean? Like, those moments,
champions are born in how they respond. Too. You know, champions don't just win all the time. Yeah, champions don't just win all the time. What you do after you lose really defines what you become as a champion. You know, so anything else you guys got to say about this one? I mean, the Hagler-Hearns fight was incredible. I had to have something to go up against it, you know what I mean? But it was an awesome fight. But these Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier fights were just... All right, guys, I'm just going to run through the results here of the matchups that Eric and Dio and I just talked about. So we started off with UMBC upsetting Virginia going up against Jimmy V, 1983 championship. We had Jimmy V moving on to the second round in that one. So we'll be seeing Jimmy V round 2. Next one, we had Carmelo Anthony's championship at Syracuse going up against the Uconn Syracuse 6-0T Thriller. We had Carmelo Anthony, Jerry McNamara, our boy, local boy, coming out on top there. So we'll be seeing them round 2. Next, we had the battle of the baseball curses. The Red Sox break their curse versus the Cubs break theirs. Red Sox come out on top on this one. That reverse sweep of the Yankees, I think, really put them over the top. So we'll be seeing Red Sox round 2. All right, next one here. Bobby Orr, Stanley Cup, wins it in OT with the diving goal. We got that going up against the Capitals. First Stanley Cup, the Capitals squeak by Bobby Orr by 1 vote to win that, and we'll see the Capitals round 2. Eagles fans, here you go. Jets beat the Colts in Super Bowl III, going against the Eagles, upsetting the Patriots in Super Bowl 52. And the Eagles moving on to round 2 with their upset of the New England Patriots. So great. Eagles fans.
I feel shocked.
So next one here, we got Lavar Leap going up against Desmond Howard, striking the Heisman pose. Unfortunately, Penn State fans, Desmond Howard striking the Heisman pose. Came out over your boy LeVar Arrington, even though Dio and Eric had some good points. But Desmond Howard, moving on to the next one. Here's my guy, Kobe Bryant, in his 60-point final game. Takes out Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan's 63 in a playoff loss versus Celtics. This is Kobe Bryant, man. This is Kobe. You know I'm bringing Kobe to the second round for sure. That 60-point game is absolute legend. So we will be seeing that round 2. Next one here, another basketball. Jordan's shot versus the Jazz. Game 6 of the Bulls' last dance, 1998. Takes out LeBron James, 25 straight points against the Pistons to get to the Cavs to the finals. LeBron James' 25 was absolutely unbelievable. And going up against a lot of other moments, it probably would have won, but Michael Jordan's shot versus Utah Jazz, Game 6 of the last dance, it's hard to beat that. So we'll be seeing Michael Jordan in the second round. LeBron James, sorry, buddy, not this time. Maybe in somebody else's list, he'd make it a little bit farther, but it was on the top 100, so great moment from LeBron James, but Michael Jordan's just going to take the cake. Next one, we got Cardiac Kemba going up against Evan Turner's half-court shot, and Cardiac Kemba rolls on to the next round. Pretty lopsided victory. I was going Cardiac Kemba for sure. That was so hype, dude. On to the next one here. We got Tiger Woods' Masters chip in 2005 versus Tiger Woods' duel with Bob May in the 2000 PGA Championship. The Masters chip came out on top, man. It was pretty close, but that Masters chip is just so iconic, especially for a lot of people that don't know a lot about golf. That Masters chip was incredible. So, Masters chip on to round 2. Next one. Here you go, Eagles fans again. Deshaun Jackson's Miracle in the Meadowlands takes out the Rams, stopping the Titans at the 1-yard line. I voted for the Rams, but unfortunately, too many of you Eagles fans out there. Deshaun Jackson's going to be moving on to the second round. Also, Titans fans, I'm sorry. I totally botched. I totally missed the Music City Miracle when I was putting this list together. So I hope any Titan fan out there can just forgive me. But the Music City Miracle, will give it honorable mention because I totally just missed it when I was putting this list together. And I saw that the other day. So next one here, we had our Penn State matchup. Huge for Dio and Eric. They love talking about this one. But the Penn State block field goal versus Ohio State's just too much for the Penn State versus Michigan 4 OT thriller. So we'll be seeing the Penn State block field goal versus Ohio State next round. Next one we had was our old-time baseball and Willy Mays' catch in the 1954 World Series that the New York Giants won. Takes out Bobby Thompson's shot heard around the world versus the Brooklyn Dodgers. Two really iconic old baseball moments, but Willy Mays moving on to the next round. Next one here. Jordan's flu game. This was a tough one. This was a super tough one. In Michael Jordan's flu game versus Isiah Thomas's 25-point quarter on a very badly, if not broken, ankle in Game 6 of the NBA Finals. Isiah Thomas actually came in here by 1 vote and took out Michael Jordan's flu game. Absolutely. 2 incredible performances, the Michael Jordan flu game. It's interesting. The Pistons lost that Game 6. Michael Jordan won the Game 5. So it's really tough. Both extremely gutty performances, but to score 25 points in 1 quarter is incredible by itself. But to do it on a broken ankle, it's harder than Michael Jordan had food poisoning. I'd say the broken ankle is a little bit harder to deal with than food poisoning, but I don't know. 2 incredible performances. Isiah Thomas squeaked him out by 1 vote. Maybe one of the only times Isiah Thomas beat Michael Jordan. So on to the next one here. Another tough basketball one. Another basketball one decided by 1 vote. Larry Bird's steal and score versus the Pistons to tie the game up. to put the Celtics ahead by 1 in the game 5 to let them take control of the series. That was going up against Magic Johnson's baby skyhook versus the Celtics later that season in the NBA Finals, and that skyhook gave the Lakers the lead with 2 seconds to play. Game 6, we close it out. Final 2 seconds in the game, and we win the championship. So Magic Johnson with that baby skyhook to win the NBA Finals. It's moving on to the second round. My Lakers, showtime, baby. Next one here, we had Phil Mickelson's first British Open versus Jack Nicklaus's 86 Masters. One of the best matchups we had, really, in terms of like quality of the moment. Basically, both are older than way past their prime. Phil shooting an incredible score, 66 when everybody else was shooting in the mid 70s. Jack shoots 30 on the back at Augusta National. Unbelievable. And Phil just could barely squeak him out by 1 vote here. Two incredible moments, but Phil Mickelson will be seeing you in the next round. 2 left. We had Mark Messier's hat trick in the 1994 Eastern Conference Finals versus Wayne Gretzky's hat trick in Game 7 of the 1993 Western Conference Finals. And the GOAT, the great one, Wayne Gretzky, moves on to the next round. It's just, this is one of Gretzky's greatest moments. He's the greatest player. That's where people went, So Wayne Gretzky will be seeing you round 2. Last one here, the Muhammad Ali trilogy of Ali Frazier trilogy went up against the Hagler Hearns war, and Muhammad Ali Frazier trilogy, baby. We'll be seeing you round 2 because that was just incredible. That series of fights, that trilogy of fights is probably the greatest trilogy of fights that we have that I can think of anyways. So we'll be seeing Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, round 2. All right?
The video, guys. I just hope you enjoyed the podcast. I had a great time shooting it with Nate and Eric. We always have a great time shooting these. As sports come back, we're hoping to start doing some more live sports videos and, stuff like that. We want to go to some Penn State games, some Philadelphia Eagles games, some Pittsburgh Steelers games, anything close we want to get to, maybe do some live podcasts from there as well. So if you guys haven't already, like I said earlier, if you could go down in the box below and give us a like, a share, subscribe, hit the notification bell to get notified anytime we go live. I'd greatly appreciate it because we're brand new. So anything you can do to help us grow would be awesome. I'd be so appreciative. With all that being said, guys, I will catch y'all in the next one. Part 4, Top 100 Sports Moments. So I will catch y'all in the next one. I love y'all.